everyone. As I sit here up in Melrose, Illinois, on my way to pick up a load at U.S. Cold Storage in Romeoville. You know, I'm gonna say this. You know, it's funny that when you talk about a lot of these, what you call the diversity, and I was basically listening to Chad Show. They shout out to her channel, and they said most women date hypergamous, and that's true. They do. They date hypergamous, hypergamous, and that's due a lot of times to class, but when it comes to black women and non-black men, white men are the top of the barrel. And that includes for not just black women, for all women, due to colonialism, colonialism and shit like that. Women have more value than white men due to the control of the power that white men have over the world due to, wherever they went, they pretty much took everything they wanted. That is one of the perks of white supremacy. And when I was looking at Fresh and Fit show, and he had Nick Fuentes on the show. Now keep in mind, these are all so-called quote-unquote pro-black women. And basically, to show you how these women do, they basically dug themselves down. Pro-blackness was dug down to the point where you had one chick, she was biracial. But she said that, we black people shouldn't blame white people of today for the shit they done in the past, considering that they reaping all the benefits of that, which, they have stolen and killed and all this shit in the past. All the shit they reaping, even though they, the generation haven't done it, they still reaping the benefits. And not one time how they said we gonna give some of that, yes, we did this to these people, and we did it after slavery and doing Jim Crow. So by obligation, we are obligated to, pay these people back. That's not how they see it. They feel like, oh well, you got conquered and you got ran over and that's it. Take your lot in life and be at the bottom. So either you do two things. You take your place at the bottom of society. You take that, or you say, fuck that. I tell you what, we're going to work hard to over top of your ass, and we're going to be at the top, and our foot going to be on your neck. And when you do that, then, only then, they feel you see you as a threat. And see, that is how white supremacy works. That's how it works. They feel like we took all your shit and now we're not obligated to do shit for you. Or we'll deal with your lot in life and be at the fucking bottom. So this come in when women come in. Women gonna see the man who dominates. This is something we gotta realize, man. As men, and I shout out to Anthony Holland. That's why when you go over the world, all over the world, you can be a poor, broke white dude, and you can be a wealthy, handsome, attractive black man. But women ain't gonna look at those women. Gonna look at that white man as the pinnacle of power, because white men rule every goddamn thing. For now, that dynamic is changing. That's the dynamic they don't want to change, and they'll do everything to keep that from happening. Everything. This is why they have a problem with the Sahel nations, Ibrahim Traore and all those African nations rising up, because they know if those African nations unite, that'll leave them powerless, because now they got to depend on either they got to find a new way, find new energy sources to basically power Europe, or they're gonna be turned into the bitch, and they don't want to be the bitch. So me personally, I think what's gonna happen is I think what they was dealing with was neo-colonialism, which is a soft form of colonialism, where they just put in a little bullshit ass dictator, and the dictator is told from the West to do this and do that. Yes, you enrich the people that you're around, your circle, but technically fuck your people. So them leaders like, well, you know what, I gotta take care of my people. Look, man, this is what we'll do. We'll act like we coming over there to feed the people. You know, we'll have UNICEF come throw bags of rice and shit out there to your people. We'll act like we have doctors helping those people, but really we ain't doing nothing but sterilizing them so we can make their population go down. Keep them like the Israeli government was doing to the Falasha Jews. They was basically doing shit to keep the Ethiopian black women from basically ovulating and shit, because they didn't want their population to get big. And the funniest thing is, they actually have more ties to Judea than the so-called Ashkenaz, which is another thing that deep-seated jealousy, because they so-called the tribe of Dan, which me personally, I don't believe in none of that magical ass shit, but you have people that do. So you have the powers that be want to keep the status quo in. Well, women go along with that. Only one problem that circumvents this shit: the promotion of black male masculinity, whether it be good or bad, in hip-hop music. Now, Saw Willie P hit the nail right on the head right here. Even though black men are at the bottom socially and economically, still in all the white woman see us, our sex drive and our masculinity is more valuable than Brad's. And Brad, even though you'll have black women worshiping them and think in their mind that white men are way more masculine, than black men, even though that's not true, you'll have still in all, he has white supremacy, has a fear of black men. They have a fear of black people in general. You got Russia with all the nuclear missiles and powers and shit that they have. They fear black nations rising up more so than Russia. Putin recognized this shit. See, Putin is genius as fuck when you really think about it, because Putin said, man, they think that, how they doing shit is running shit, but see, they want to say, well, Putin is just over there manipulating African nations and shit. Oh, I guess he's doing what you European people have been doing from time immemorial, manipulate the leaders and shit over there. Oh, so you all getting mad the Putin doing it better. What's his name? What's the Chinese prime minister name? Lao Chuping, I think his name. I don't know his name. But like I said, you all just getting mad that Russia know how to play the game better than y'all, and he winning and he getting better results. See, the thing is how Russia doing it. How Russia gonna win? Russia said, okay, we'll do all this shit for the Chinese. We're gonna do all this shit for the Africans. We're gonna rebuild infrastructure. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna even arm their military. We ain't gonna ask them for shit. And you know why? They gonna give it to us willingly and gonna give us more than what we ever asked for. And we don't have to have him subjugate his people, put his people motherfucker, put his people up under his bondage. They don't have to do that shit because now the Russians playing the game how you supposed to play it. Everybody benefiting from it. The Africans are benefiting from it and the Russians are benefiting from it. Whereas the Europeans came in, we want everything to ourselves. Like that episode of Merry Melodies and shit when Daffy Duck rubbed on that damn lamp and that damn genie came out the bottle, and to cover all his wealth and shit, he stuffed the damn genie back in the goddamn bottle. Because he's like, no, mine. That's the white man. That's literally the white man. You know, and the funny thing is, they got Daffy. They got Daffy as a black duck, what Daffy was really supposed to be. Daffy was really a black guy. But Daffy, they turned Daffy into a black duck with a white neck. And they think people like me don't see the shit that the Merry Melodies still try to do these little cartoons and shit. But that's how that white man is. He feels that everything. Now, am I saying all white people? No. That's how that white man is. He feels everything should belong to him. If it's his way, it's the highway. That white man, I believe if black people were to take over, take destiny into their own hands, I'm going to tell you, these white people will probably try to find a way to blow this whole goddamn world up. Because in their mind, they feel like we're not going to let these niggas come over. We'll blow this motherfucker up if we have to. We ain't going to let these niggas take over shit. We'll do what we got to do to keep power, even if we have to fuck everything up. And that's the mentality of that white man. I'll be damned if I let you run and take over every goddamn thing so we can be at the bottom. We fought, we killed, murdered, and butchered too many people to get hurt. Oh, accident almost goddamn happened right there. But they feel that they worked too hard to basically get where they at. And they're going to do everything, use every tool in their disposal to keep that power. Every tool. Like I told people, you know, these Europeans, they already said if they can't get them Sahel nations to get back in line, they will use military power to do that. Even no matter if Ibrahim Traoré got the support of the people, no matter where he at, people globally, the man is a phenomenon. But they will do everything in their power to keep control of them because they feel like they gotta keep control. They gotta keep power. And if they gotta kill Ibrahim Traoré, they will do that. Even though he's a popular man on the planet and people love him, they feel like they would kill him in order to get everything they way. They would do that to get everything they way. And then, you know, you will be reading about a man like Thomas Sankara or Patrice Lumumba in the history books as good men, but they'll say, well, you know, hey, you know, it is what it is. Those are good men, but we were looking out, and they'll tell the European people that go along with Ibrahim, look, we have to do what we have to do to keep power. If it wasn't for us doing what we did, you all wouldn't have electricity in your homes. This is how the white man would tell them, you welcome, motherfuckers. So, you know, this is how the world is. We living in a predatory ass world system. There's no people try to say, well, you know, God, fuck that shit. That shit, I said, what God is now? If it was a true God, he would have all kind of protections on Ibrahim Traoré. But we all know this magical ass thinking. We living in the reality of the fucking now. Not no magical Allah, no Yahweh, no Jesus, none of this shit. We living in the here and now. And Ibrahim Traore, he is a Muslim. I love the brother. I pray that nothing happens to that brother. This is a man that's for his people, but for you to be for your people is a crime. It's a crime to be for your people, to love your people so much that you'll circumvent the powers that be for your own people. That is a taboo to people like them. It's all about getting wealth and accumulating wealth. You see it over here in the United States where you got Americans suffering. Americans are fucking suffering. But do the wealthy elite give a fuck about making rent prices cheaper or food cheaper? Fuck no. They won't make money if they did that. This is all about making money. They don't give a fuck if the average American can't afford to eat. All they give a crap, they have enough money to last them a fucking lifetime. They have enough money. Some of these multi-billionaires, 3% have enough money that'll last them for generations. But in their mind, they're like Daffy Duck. I gotta have it, mine. Get back into the bottle. Get back to the bottle. That's how they think. Because they feel like they should have all the money to themselves, like almost like the boomers. The boomers fucked the generation talking about, I want to have babies. And this even among white supremacy, that's why I said white supremacy is a fucking tool of the elites to keep those middle class and poor white people thinking one day they're going to be at the top. Give them the illusion that they're going to be at the top. Tell them that, you white people, you holding the line. You throw a few crumbs out there. They send a few people like Nick Fuentes, Jared Taylor, Richard Spencer, David Duke, basically to be the white people whisperers. And they throw them a few crumbs and shit. I'll throw them some money and shit to keep the division going. And at the meantime, they raping the masses, and they got you a poor middle class white person or a poor person living in a trailer park thinking all your problems is because of the illegal migrants they was bringing over here working on the farm, the crime that black people doing in the inner city, mostly amongst themselves, due to drugs being dumped in their community by the elites. So then they pick good. They do the same thing with the black folks. They get rid of the real leaders, but they promote niggas that's supposed to be leaders like Jesse Jackson, all your buck dancing coon niggas on both sides of the aisle to do their bidding. Meanwhile, they throwing them a few crumbs, pretty much like they do in the African nations. They promote leadership, but anybody that sound like Malcolm X, Thomas Sankara, Patrice Lumumba, Marcus Garvey, Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King, even though they try to shame him and do all kinds of shit saying he was having sexual relationships outside the relationship, even though we all don't know this shit. This was a smearing campaign, and then we don't know, he might have been. But he killed, if that's why they killed Malcolm. Malcolm, what they said, Edgar J. Hoover said, really, he actually loved Malcolm X. It's just the powers that be wanted him gone. This Edgar J. Hoover, he still said he felt guilty about getting rid of him. In his memoirs, go read Edgar J. Hoover's memoirs. The memoirs of Edgar J. Hoover. He said he contemplated, he said he cried and contemplated about killing Malcolm. It said he said he hated that, but he said the powers that be wanted him going. And this in his memoirs, in Edgar J. Hoover's memoirs. And quiet as kept, a lot of people don't know. Well, everybody know now. Edgar J. Hoover was biracial. He was a passing biracial. He was a passing mixed person. And they picked him to do a job. They picked him, selected him to do his job. Just like E.D. Du Bois. And the funny thing is, Edgar J. Hoover and E.D. Du Bois were friends. That wouldn't even make that so bad. Him and E.D. Du Bois were friends, and they didn't like Marcus Garvey because Marcus Garvey was stealing all the spotlight from E.D. Du Bois. That's why they had Marcus Garvey removed. But Marcus Garvey couldn't even get his movement started in Jamaica due to colorism and shit down there. He couldn't even, the Jamaicans wouldn't even listen to him because he was too dark. But he found his home this is an immigrant black man who was radical, found his home here in the United States. And black people followed him in America. FBA blacks followed him. They said after that shit, they said, look, we got to screen all these niggas we bring over here to the Americas. We can't bring no more niggas like Marcus Garvey over here. We got to make sure the niggas we bring over here go along with the status quo, and we got to tell them we got to try to make the black people look bad. And that's what they've been doing. Now, Donald Trump fucked all that up. Donald Trump is now having not only Mexicans and other groups of people deported, now on top of that, now he's even snatching up Africans, Haitians, Cubans, anybody who's not what you call a city, snatching their ass up, sitting on the back. Now, everybody, not just the Mexicans, it ain't just them. Everybody asking for FBA to help them. Keep in mind, all of them have been told to not fuck with black FBA Americans. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.